What would you say? What would you say to the next generation? What's really important? It's actually not consoling, it's coaching. It's saying, hey, here are the keys to success. What are they? Their attitudes and actions, and now we're going to go into biology class. You see, SEAL team, this is their term for biology. It's a weapons platform. People, and this is how they would talk to you in SEAL training, you get none of the toys until you understand how to use this little system right here without the sunglasses. You see, you could replace all those toys up there with every other customer's skill sets that you're using in there. You could replace the whole thing with an ERP system, but you can't replace this guy. And what makes actions and attitudes go? This is the biology piece. You see, the weapons platform that they're talking about is learning to own and operate your brain, the thoughts that occur there, the actions that are coming out of the body, and the spark. Now, the spark is what I'm calling the emotions. That's the system, the brain, the body, and the emotions. But the most important thing is understanding the breakthrough of what's going on in the brain. You see, this is what we didn't learn about 20, 25 years ago. That's as far as I'll go back. That's a neuron. A neuron is an action cell, sits in the brain. We got 86 billion of those sitting up there. It turns out we even have some in our gut. But the neuron makes all the actions of the body happen. It makes the senses happen, it makes the movements happen, and it makes the emotions happen. And how does it do it? It does it through what I call rocket fuel. We're not going to go into all the hormones, but you got some key hormones that are pumping out through the body. Hormones like dopamine and serotonin and BDNF and NPP, they're all coming through there. And they get activated when the brain gets challenged. So what's the breakthrough? In 1998, these three scientists down in San Diego debunked something that we were all told in biology. You see, they would say, oh, by the way, the neurons, you're born with so many, and then they start dying off by the time you reach 30. Oh, by the way, that's a pathway, a neural pathway. Your pathways are set by the time you're 30. And then that old adage neatly fits into biology class. The old adage of, you can't teach an old dog new tricks. Oh, that's what they're talking about, that you're set. Nope, these three scientists in San Diego, they discover that the brain, working with the body, can do neurogenesis. Neurogenesis all the way to the point of us being promoted. That would be the end of life, as we know it. Neurogenesis is the production of more neurons. And it's not just the production of more neurons, it's the production of new pathways. But the problem with pathways, it goes against the way the brain is originally formed. You see, the brain, and why we are continually at the top of the food chain as far as species go, is that we come with a survival instinct in our brain. We are pre-wired to avoid death. We are pre-wired to survive. But the neurons and the neural pathways need challenges to learn new things. Take, for instance, learning a new language. It's hard. It's even harder if that language is going to be Chinese or Japanese. You can't recognize anything. The brain's getting frustrated. It's getting pounded on its head, and you just got to go, no, we're going to keep working on this. But the funny thing about the brain is the brain, it needs another set of systems. The body, you're familiar with that, right? Over 200 bones of the skeletal structure. Almost 600 muscles. cardiovascular system to bring the rocket fuel to the neurons in the brain. This system works together. And the other thing, they didn't even discover this until about 8 years ago. There's another system called an enteric system. They call it the second brain. Look it up on Google. There's 500 to 600 million more neurons in your gut. Now in SEAL Team, they actually have an award. It's been going on for 50 years. It's called the Fire in the Gut Award. You hear the old adage, trust your gut, right? That's because serotonin is being kicked off in here. Serotonin is part of the rocket fuel system. Those are the mood hormones. Low serotonin, here comes depression. How do you get out of that? How do you pump it up? You work, the body gets going. It starts moving. And when the body starts moving, serotonin levels go up, rocket fuel goes to the brain, and you got this great system. You got this processor, this computer sitting up here, and then you've got this action vehicle down there. But there's one other thing. Because if that's all it was, we'd be walking computers. We'd logically process one thing after the other. Nope. It gets more complicated. We have emotions. These are the three general areas of emotions. They are feel emotions, behave emotions, and believe emotions. These come together and they form attitudes. Attitudes then start having a conflict with the brain. And you're going to have a decision that you're going to make, and that's part of what they do with SEAL training. You see, they want to have you have this meeting real quick with the little voices inside your head, and what they'll say is the fire in your gut. The fire is the attitude, the care, what you love. You see, love's the most powerful emotion there is. And when you really care about something, Katie bar the door. I mean, you're going to get it done. But this system is what they teach you in the first phase of training. And I had taken myself 4 years to get through the Naval Academy to show up at SEAL training. We're done with biology now, okay? But I really want to stress to you the importance of the scientific fact. I want to remove the excuses of the woulda, shoulda, couldas. And they do that very well at SEAL Team. They show up, and you work for about 5 weeks in a pre-phase holding cell. You're not with all the other guys who are already classed up. But you're now meeting men from all across the country who've gone through multiple physical tests, multiple psychological tests. Everybody can run, swim, push, pull, do sit-ups. They all got it. But they don't let you class up. They make it mandatory to sit in 5 weeks of just going back through it. We're just going to work out. And every day they'll show you, oh yeah, look at that. Look at all those helmets on the ground. You see those? Those are quitters. Whew. Ooh, tough day there. And then you keep working out. And then they tell you, okay boys, we're going to do one more fitness test. It's the same one we've done 3 times already. A fitness test, just to confirm we are physically fit to start training. We started with 122 guys in that pre-phase, and by the time we classed up, after doing that fitness test, and every single one of those guys could pass it because we only got stronger. Everyone had to pass to get into the group. We lost half the class. We were down to 64 from 122, and we hadn't even started training. How come? They got psyched out. They started seeing it, going, no way. I know that guy. He was in the class ahead of me. He quit. I'm not in. So here you are, first day of class, and you get to see the frog monster. And what he's got around his neck here is a little statement. It says, So you want to be a frogman. And you have a senior instructor that kind of talks like that. He comes out and he gives you your welcome speech to the first day of training. And he's a particularly interesting fellow because I'll never forget a guy that's missing his left buttocks from a rocket-propelled grenade in Vietnam. Imagine his nicknames. So I'm going to paraphrase, but this is pretty much how he says. He goes, boys, I'm going to tell you how to make it through training. Come to the other side and be a frogman with us. Yeah, it's real easy. You just got to figure out in your noodle what price you're willing to pay. That's all you got to do. You see, the problem is 80% of you here, that price is going to be too high. You ain't going to pay that price. Oh, but for you other 20% that will pay the price, we're going to pound on you. And he gets kind of goofy looking. And he goes, yeah, we're going to treat you like a samurai sword. You know how those are built, boys? No. Oh, we're going to heat up a piece of metal. We're going to bring out a hammer. Bam! We're going to pound on it and then stick it in cold water. You know how long it takes to make a samurai sword? No. 2,000 folds. That's about what we figure we got to do for you. So, by the way, I was supposed to say, welcome to SEAL training. Right after that, the instructors come in and they go, boys. And they're not drill instructor likes. It's not like Full Metal Jacket where you got this really hardcore drill instructor. It's more like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde personalities. And they go, boys, we got this really fun event coming up. We're going to go over to the combat training tank. We'll run for about 5 miles, and then we'll sit on the cold concrete for a little while, and I'm going to tell you about your first pass-fail challenge. Okay, a pass-fail challenge? For me, it took me 4 years to get there, and it's the first day, and they're already telling me I have an opportunity to fail? This is 25 weeks of training. So we go for a run, we get on the cold concrete, and we're sitting there, and they goes, okay, let me tell you the final exam right up front. You're going to swim for about 200 meters, and then you're going to take a little break, just kind of float on the water, relax. And then you're going to be in the 9-foot section, you'll bob for about 10 minutes, and then you'll go down on the ground, and you're going to pick up a mask with your teeth and bring it over to the pool. The neurons in the gut start firing, going, that doesn't sound right because the swim test is an 800-meter swim test. What's the catch? Brain's going, oh, no problem, we can do this. Until they go, oh, I forgot to tell you. We're going to tie your feet together and tie your hands behind your back. What?